I mean, I feel you in the confidence and all that, but game two, you're talking about how he bounced back? Where you bounced it back from?
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis discuss NBA news and notes, review the AP preseason top 25 in both men's and women's basketball, as well as celebrating Dr. Adams' induction into his high school athletic hall of fame. Welcome to today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, 2011 all week long for me, the Kofi Kingston to my R-Truth in the WWE, the icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, how the heck are you today, man?
I am doing well. How about you?
Man, this is a good week. Got to hang out with my partner for all of 30 minutes, but we'll take it.
30 minutes.
He got to see the new studio. And he might even get one too.
Yeah.
We
checked.
So fans, on this Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, we're going to do the NBA kind of weekend review. Seasons are very young, so we're not going to go crazy with it. And we're going to talk some preseason college basketball talk. Segment 2, we'll talk about the women. And segment 3, we'll talk about the men. Special closing segment for me. But first, let's talk about the NBA stories of the week. Mike, Ben Simmons. So Brooklyn Nets coach Steve Nash said he was proud of Ben Simmons for the way he handled coming back from poor play. He didn't open up the season that strong and then had a good game. But the fact that Steve Nash is already saying, man, what a comeback, gives me pause. Any thoughts about Ben Simmons as we start the season? Because again, the fact that Game 2, Game 3, his coach is talking about how proud he is. Kind of gives me a step back on that. Any thoughts, sir?
That's he's just trying to help his confidence. He's just trying to build his confidence. If he can just, not distract, but just put a different narrative out there, it might be beneficial for him as he transition back. That's what you do as a coach. You know it. You know that.
Game 2?
He said
Game 2? I mean, I feel you in the confidence and all that, but game 2, you're talking about how he bounced back? Where you bounced it back from? 2K. Anyway, all right. So the Lakers, the overwhelming majority of people like ourselves who are prognosticators believe that the Lakers needed to do something before the season if they were trying to win something. And week after week on the OCP, I would tell Mike about the different moves. Hey, they picked up Darvin Ham as the coach. Dennis Schroeder's coming. Russell Westbrook is coming back. And every week, Mike just says, man, what is this? So the team has a lack of shooting, and wait for it, LeBron James admitted they're not the best three-point shooting team. What are we doing? Are we going to trade Westbrook this year? Are we going to tank for win Miami? What are you thinking about the Lakers coming into the season? They're not off to a good start, man.
Who we tanking for?
We'll talk about tanking a little bit later in this segment, but the Lakers haven't come in very good, man.
No, not at all. And it's sad to see, as a Cowboy fan and as a Laker fan, I just don't understand why this roster has been put together the way it is. I just don't see it. I don't see how you. I mean, one game, 3 guys were 1 for 27. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Who?
It's gonna be a
I keep
long
saying
year,
Rob
man.
Pelinka was the first one to take all the credit. His ass need to take the blame for sure for the last 2 seasons.
This is not good, man.
You won a ring in the bubble because it was a shortened season. So Anthony Davis couldn't get hurt in a shortened season. so it's going, yeah. Man.
All right. So teams I'm watching this week. So we don't really get into rankings or anything until Christmas. Season just started. I'm watching a game or two here and there, but Boston's off to a good start. Okay. The Bucks, they're off to a good start. The Wizards are doing what the Wizards do. They're off to a good start. Every blasted year. Remember last year? They're like first quarter of the season. They're like, hey man, break up the Wizards. Yeah. Okay. They're off to a good start. Yeah, what we did. And Philly is off to a slow start, and they're not supposed to be off to a slow start. So anybody in the Eastern Conference catch your eye? Just I'm going to kind of peek at that. Or
Boston.
Yeah, they're off to a good start, man. So
Boston. I like the way Boston plays. I like the way they defend, the way they get out, the way they share the ball. I think Boston is Boston and then Philly. Those are the top 2 in the East to me. Well, excuse me. Boston and Milwaukee are floating like about the same 1-1-8, and then Philly. So I'll take that.
Yeah, but Philly, still in the driveway right now, trying to get a win at the time of this tape, of course.
Yeah, but the way they're playing, though, they're not winning. I mean, the way they're playing, I like the way they're playing.
All right. So in the Western Conference, I told your fans, Zion looks healthy. Zion looks happy. Zion is zipping and bopping.
14 points. 14 points.
I said he's looking healthy, man. I didn't say nothing about
points.
At the time of this taping, they're undefeated.
And 4 rebounds.
Now, again, folks, this is like there's been 2 games, so I can't talk that much trash. All right.
Clippers. The man ain't played in 8 years. He ought to be fresh. You got to get more than 14 points, man. Stop it.
Clippers are off to a nice start, folks.
No, what's name gonna kill that though? I saw it already. Paul Pierce gonna get in the way.
Not Paul Pierce. Paul George. Man.
Same one. Paul Pierce, Paul George. Same selfishness.
And yes, a little too much news and accolades for somebody else is what I'm guessing. Yeah. And of course, we got to do something with the Lakers, man. We got to do something because that's not going to work out. But again, we won't get deep on the NBA.
Blow the Lakers up. Seriously, you got to. You got to. That's the way that team is constructed, man. I don't know who in the world thought that was going to be good.
Yeah. So quick commissioner's thoughts. So NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, in recent comments to Phoenix Suns employees, addressed several league-wide issues. I want to toss this at my partner because, again, we're at that point of our year where a lot of times I can't do pre-show notes for him, so he's going to catch it live. Wait till you hear our episode tomorrow as we catch things live. Video don't lie. All right. Phoenix Suns. Adam Silver apologized multiple times on behalf of the league office to Suns employees for workplace misconduct under Robert Sarver. So appreciate him apologizing after the fact. Hey, this guy has been an owner for like 20 years.
Right.
So they talked a lot about tanking. And during the session, one employee asked Silver about tanking. A theme that is widely expected because of the 7'4" French phenomenon, the phenom Victor Wembanyama, a potentially franchise-altering prospect that Mike is still underwhelmed with. Okay, so Adam Silver said, and I quote, "We put teams on notice. We're going to pay particular attention to this issue." So Adam Silver also told the employees that the league thought about using the European soccer technique of relegation as a potential solution to ensure that the worst performing teams are incentivized to compete. So in such a scenario, for those who don't know what regulation is, regulation would essentially mean demoting the worst one or two teams to the G League while promoting the best team or two from the G League to the NBA. And they would do that to reduce tanking. Now, the NBA is not going to do that because no, those G League teams get killed. But Mike, what do you think about that as an idea, though, to say the last two teams, y'all go to the G League? Would that stop taking?
Yeah.
That would stop taking.
Yeah, that would. That would. You could.
But then the Delaware Blue Coats come to the NBA. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, come on to the.
I don't want to see the Capital City go against Phoenix. I don't want to see that.
No, I want to see them against the Wizards. It's the same damn team.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so we're going to be watching out for tanking because this kid, I actually like the kid, and I would pick him as number one. But my partner's still underwhelmed. Last thing he talked about, and the last thing that's going to close the segment, is expansion. Adam Silver also addressed the question about league expansion, and he told the Suns employees that the league will look more closely once it gets its updated television rights deal. So the NBA current TV package is a 9-year deal with ESPN and Turner, and it's slated to expire after the 24-25 season. So the two cities that have the most energy, Las Vegas and Seattle, but he also said he is concerned about possibly diluting the talent. So Mike, one, are you for or against expansion? And do you think that it would dilute the talent?
Quarterback wise, because we're struggling right now. I mean, not we, but just it's hard to get quarterbacks now. I mean, you got one or two backups, maybe three. But so if those guys became starters, maybe. But what happens if they go down?
Now we're talking about NBA expansion.
Oh, my fault.
Yes, my fault. NBA expansion.
No.
Can they get two more teams in, make it 32?
Of course.
And would there be a really gap of the talent piece?
Of course.
I don't think they would be as dilution of talent as people are saying.
It won't be.
Because skill-wise,
yes,
they're not as good anyway. So that just means more European players who have an increased skill set would be coming into the league. We're talking about one or two players.
And 8, 9, 10 on each bench.
Yeah.
Could be on the other team. Two teams, that's easy. Yeah. Out of 32 teams now, you're only looking for 24 guys just on the bench, maybe. And then if you get 6 or 7 more European players coming in, that's it.
Because they're skilled enough.
Now the question is where.
Yeah, so they're looking at Seattle and they're looking at Las Vegas, and I like both of those spots. I think Seattle needs a team back. They should have lost their team. They had fan support. It's not like they didn't have support. The owner saw an opportunity and left. So Seattle should get a team because they got a rich history, strong fan base, whatever. And now I'm in the Vegas tank too, man. I'm in the Vegas tank too.
Because the
Raiders are there, the Aces are there, hockey team's there. They got T-Mobile Arena. I mean, I'm there. I'm like, hey, you got space.
And if you go out in the winter, you could catch a game while you're there.
Yeah, because I will be. Anyway.
I was going to say, isn't somebody I know going out there soon?
Yes, indeed. We will be there, fans. If you want to say hi, we'll have OCP shirts and you can wave, man. So in segment 2, we're going to talk AP preseason top 25 women's basketball. My partner and I are going to look at the list and give you our thoughts in the preseason. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 2, we're going to talk about the AP Women's Preseason Top 5. And we're just going to kind of just go through, let you know where everybody is and start top to bottom. South Carolina's preseason number 1 got all 30 votes, Mike, and I got no problem with that. There. You got the Boston kid coming back. 2 is Texas. 2 is Stanford. 3 is Texas. 4 is Iowa. Iowa had a good season last year. 5 is Tennessee, and selfishly, I'm happy that they're up there. I can't lie. Women's basketball is good when Tennessee's good. It's just, the tradition. They had fallen off for a while. I like that to have them in there. UConn is 6 with no Paige Beckers, so AZ Flood will definitely get time and touches. And she's local. I know her dad very well, so should be good. Louisville 7. One day off camera, you're going to have to tell me about the beef between Louisville and Maryland, sir. One day off camera. 8 is Iowa State. 9 is Notre Dame. 10 is NC State. 11 is Indiana. 12 is North Carolina. 13 is Virginia Tech. I got to star that. What happened in Virginia Tech women's basketball that they're preseason 13th in the country? I got to check it out.
This is the first time I've ever known them to be ranked.
Yeah, so maybe Stacy knows, longtime friend of mine and Virginia Tech superfan. 14 is Ohio State. 15 is Oklahoma. 16 is LSU. A little salty at Kim Mulkey for not really speaking out with Brittany Griner. There's got to be something more to that because, quite frankly, if Follerin or Kevin Hammock were in Russia, I ain't going to Russia, but I'm sure letting everybody know that they're there every day. Maryland is 17. That's as low as I've seen them ranked in the preseason in some time.
Well, I'd rather be there and move my way up than be up and come down. I mean,
okay.
Coach Free, she will use this to her advantage, and she will tell it will make them earn it, and she'll continue to put that on. So I'm sure in the weight room, in the performance center, in their locker room, I'm sure that is everywhere. I'm sure that's the talk.
Yeah. 18 is Baylor. 19 is Arizona. I have no West Coast bias in terms of women's basketball because they get it done. 20 is Oregon. 21 is Creighton. And 22 is Nebraska. That's got to bug Nebraska that Creighton is above the state school. 23 is South Dakota State. They should be there. I remember, fans, I told you all last year, we watch again around the start of the new year is when we look every week at the different conference rankings, and South Dakota State was good. 24 is Princeton. Last year, Princeton was undefeated for like most of the season. And 25 is Michigan. Others receiving votes, Utah, UCLA, Kansas, Villanova women. Should be interesting. Again, that DePaul, Georgia, Belmont, Miami got those twins that are making all that money. I don't know if they can play, by the way. Can they play? Because they're making NIL money.
I ain't seen a video yet. I got to do that this afternoon.
The Cavender twins, I think that's who they are. South Dakota was good last year. K-State, BYU, Gonzaga had a good year last year. Hey, UCF got 2 votes. Go for them. So again, we just wanted to go down top 25.
Mm.
We're going to pay attention. We're just not there yet, but we want it with it being October 23rd. I think games start in maybe 2 weeks. So here's some teams for you guys to kind of pay attention to. We're going to start paying attention a little bit more. But Mike, anything you want to add before we close this segment and jump to the men in segment 3?
Nah, that's about it. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, time for some homework for Dr. Adams. So we'll be right back on the Coaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler and Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. And in segment 3, we are going to go through the men's top 25. And I got to say, there was 4 teams that got first place preseason votes. So North Carolina's number 1. And Mike, I'm not hating Hyde Milford, who's a super fan, North Carolina, but I think they might lose early. I think they might lose early. And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means, they got a lot of guys coming back and all of that, but expectations is something because they didn't have a lot of those expectations last year. Now they've got those expectations. So, but anyway, Gonzaga's number 2. They got votes. I think Timmy came back, and we're going to go through this Gonzaga thing again. And shucks, man.
What about it?
They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to play people, and then they're going to get everybody talking about them. And then they're going to go to the West Coast Conference. They're going to play their little schedule, and by the end of the year, they're going to get the tournament, and they're going to disappoint. And damn, because I like Mark Few. He's got one of the best jobs in the country because everybody leave him alone because he go win 25 to 30 games every year, and then comes March, and every story is going to be, can Gonzaga get over the hump? Can Gonzaga get over the hump? And that's when the pressure gets tight, and then that's when you're going to have the guys crying on the floor and rolling around. 3, Houston.
Why?
It's not like I'm lying. You can say whatever, but you can't call me a liar. Houston is ranked 3rd in the preseason, got 1 number 1 vote. I like Houston, but again, just like Gonzaga, they're going to play a lot of people. They're going to get a lot of early stuff, and then they're going to go to the American Conference. They're going to play a lot of Hackenschmidts, a lot of Joe Schmoes from Kokomo.
Did you say Hackenschmidts?
George Hackenschmidt, random wrestling reference. But anyway, they're gonna have 23, 24, 25 wins, and I'm gonna say, hey Mike, Houston's got 23, 24, 25 wins. They're gonna get a high seed, and then come the tournament, we're both gonna turn heel on them and say they're not gonna make it out of the first round. And yeah, okay, it's what's gonna happen. And then Kentucky again, you win old in the tournament. I don't make this stuff up. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this year, fans, we're going to have a formula, but that's just a teaser. But there's a certain kind of team that wins every year. And Kentucky's a little older. So let's see what happens with Kentucky. 5, Kansas. 6, Baylor. Scott Drew won the title, so you can't say nothing. 7, Duke. 8, UCLA. Now I'm getting my bias coming. Creighton's 9? I got to do homework on that. What did Dan McDevitt Dan McDevitt? That's MCW wrestling.
Come on, man. Stop.
What's Doug McDermott? What did they have? So Creighton's women and Creighton's men are like good. I got to check it out.
Good. You know, we still at the end of that backlog of student athletes that didn't go anywhere for 2 years.
37 years old coming out.
Everybody's transferring and all over the place. You know what I mean? That's the way it is right now.
Arkansas is 10, and if you look at their roster, everybody came from somewhere else, and it's probably about 23, 24, 25 years old with like 10 years experience. Tennessee's 11, Texas is 12, Indiana's 13. Hey, Mike Woodson, man, good luck to Mike Woodson. Go on, get that thing, man. Go on, do something.
Right.
How's TCU 14? What happened there? We got to look at that. See, fans, this is why we go through the preseason, and we ain't doing no fancy books or nothing. So TCU is preseason 14. Yeah. Okay. Auburn's 15. Villanova's 16. Villanova's got an injury, though, and I think the kid's local who's injured. I think a hand or a thumb.
Really?
Something like that. Again, this is why it's called preseason. 17, Arizona. 18, Virginia. 19, San Diego State. 20 is Alabama. 21, Oregon.
Alabama 20 preseason?
Preseason 20. Preseason 20. Oregon's 21. Michigan's 22. Michigan's 22. Didn't the kid come back, Hunter?
Yeah, but
he ain't got nobody else coming with him.
See, I didn't want to say that.
Illinois is 23.
I didn't want to go there.
Dayton is 24. Is Anthony Grant still at Dayton? Or did Dayton get a new coach?
I think Anthony Grant is still, I think he's still there.
Okay. And Texas Tech is 25. So others receiving votes. Wait a second. I got to make sure I did this right. I didn't want to forget them. Nope, they're not there. Okay. No, Virginia's 18. I want to make sure I mentioned Virginia if I didn't do so. I like how they play defense, and I love pack line. All right. So Texas A&M is somebody who got other votes. UConn, Miami, Purdue, St. Louis, Michigan State, Florida State, Xavier, Wyoming, and this is where I stop. Wyoming got votes for the top 25, but you know who didn't get votes?
Who?
Maryland.
Well,
Maryland
I couldn't tell you.
Not on the radar.
I could not. And that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Now we're local to the DMV, to District, Maryland, and Virginia.
That's good, though.
And I am now saying Maryland's going to have a great season.
Yes, they are.
Maryland's going to have a great season, and Maryland's going to compete because they've got talent. And look who got a vote. Toledo got a vote. Okay. What in the world? UAB got a vote. Maryland didn't even get a vote. That's man, good. If I'm coaching Maryland, I got all that. I got a hit list.
Men and women's. Men and women's. I'm dogging that.
My goodness. Rutgers got 4 votes. Rutgers got votes? Mm-hmm. They said Rutgers and I'm in that, man. Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts before I close out with
no,
all right. So fans, finally, and I didn't even tell my partner I was going to do this, but so this past weekend, yours truly was inducted into the Paint Branch High School Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2022, something I thought would never happen, honestly. I played there. Yes. I won MVP as a high school senior. Yeah. I coached there. We won a lot, but I was an assistant. So a lot of times people in our positions, Mike is the same way, don't kind of get recognized for helping the helper. I miss my head coach, Hank Galata, and Walter Hardy. Hank was a legendary coach, and Walter won All-Met Coach of the Year in 2000, and we're still smiling about that. So I want to thank the athletic director, Heather Podesic, a longtime friend of mine, and the people who even nominated me, which is like crazy. Um, but I want to say this with my partner here. Being a high school coach is more than X's and O's. You are legitimately helping whoever your student athletes are transition into adulthood. That's what we're really doing. And the vehicle that we have the honor and privilege to use is athletics, whatever that sport is. And it's the same thing with teaching. You're helping them transition. And Mike, students from my first class 28 years ago took time out of their schedule because they heard I was going in. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me pause. And I wanted to acknowledge, that it's so humbling because you're just doing your job. And I always look at you and say, we're just doing our jobs. We're just trying to help kids. And sometimes we're mean, and that's okay. And sometimes we pat you on the back, and that's okay. And sometimes we kick you in the butt. And even my soccer players were there, and we joke. And on our logo, on one side is my coaching, and on the other side is Mike's coaching, because you'll see a tennis ball, because Mike is also a former tennis coach. But I learned more from my soccer players than I've ever learned from they ever learned from me, because when you're coaching a sport that's not your primary, you can't fake it. So you have to listen. And being a soccer coach helped me be a better basketball coach, because you have to let go and let them. There were former ADs there and current ADs, because I was an athletic director, and I was only an athletic director for 2 years, in part because of my passion for wanting to use this as a vehicle, and sometimes it doesn't work. So to hear that and to know how hard that job is, my heart goes out to all of the athletic directors who are, again, just trying to help. Fowler and Ajua came. And as people know, Fowler wrote the foreword to my book, and Ajua wrote the afterword to my book. But again, they went to another high school, but I was going in, and they said, be there. And Mike, you will laugh at this. Ajua almost cussed me out because I thanked her for coming. And she said, don't thank me, dude. That's what we do. That's what we do. And you can see her staring me down, saying that's what we do. And we're going to have some future Find the Balance episodes just to have these conversations. And, I wanted to end this by thanking you, because you came over and we caught up a little bit, just because we're friends, fans, and real life gets in the way. And there's just a lot of times that Mike and I just don't stop to get off the wheel, get off the ride, and just, have moments. So Mike saw the plaque, and he knows how much this means to me. So thank you again to my Paper Ranch family, and thank you to my tag team partner for giving me, some time. You know, what are you doing, Dusty Rhodes?
I do. I'm not. No, but I do want to take the time and say congratulations. And it's very rare that, as you said before, you helped to help her, and you were a major part of what happened, and a major part of success while you were there. And to be recognized by the school and that community, is long past due for you, but congratulations. You've done a lot for the school. You've tried even more all the time, and that says a lot. So congratulations.
Yeah, and special shout out to our number one super fan, JJ, for coming out. And my dad was there with me. My brother was there.
Nice.
My dad is the man I most admire, and my brother has been my biggest cheerleader. And KJ got to see people he's never seen this stuff. AJ got to live this stuff with you, and a lot of my career, KJ never saw dad coach. So to even have my soccer players come up and say, yeah, your dad coached soccer and we won games too, and he's looking like, but he doesn't know anything about soccer.
No,
and my players would say, and that's the point, he learned.
Yeah.
So there's an appreciation for that. So again, thank you. And on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines Till next time.
Hall of Famer, baby.
Watch, baby, because Hood College, we got it. Yes, I'm still that dude. See you next time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches Podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.